I met a girl online a few years back. We exchanged numbers and began talking on the phone frequently. Before long, we set up our first date. We had planned on meeting one another at a lounge not far from her house. But while we both were en route, her car started giving her trouble. So she drove back home and we instead met outside her house. I was relieved to see she looked exactly like her photos. She said her uncle's mechanic shop was still open. She asked me to park my car and ride with her over there. It wouldn't take long. The car used to belong to her uncle and he knew how to fix the problem in no time. We're telling the story now. It sounds dumb even to me. But thinking back to how her legs looked in that skirt, I remember exactly why I agreed. Her uncle didn't exactly work in a shop, at least not a reputable one. I never walked in, but from the outside it looked just like a detached two-car garage. There wasn't even a sign, just a bunch of old beat-up cars sitting around a dirt lot. She told me she'd be back as she hopped out her driver's seat. Then after taking a few steps, she turned around and asked me to pass her phone from the glove box. And I did. But once she walked inside the building, I opened her glove compartment back up. I don't know what I was looking for. I guess curiosity got the best of me. Or maybe it was a gut feeling. Either way, I'm glad I snooped around. There was a man's name on the registration card. I assumed it to be her uncle's. Aside from that, there was mostly just old parking tickets and store receipts. I was about to close things back up when a pink slip of paper caught my eye. As I checked it out, my heart jumped in my throat. I saw my date of birth, followed by my address, my social, my parents' and siblings' names. It even had the name of the company I worked for. Besides that last piece of info, I was sure I hadn't shared any of the rest of that with her. I jumped out of her car and left it running. I left the paper behind, but I took a photo with my phone. That and her license plate. I waited until I was about 2 blocks away, and then I ordered a rideshare back to my car. My would-be date kept calling my phone, but I immediately blocked her number and her social media account. I had a family friend run the plate. It was in a different name than the registration card was. What a surprise. I told a buddy of mine what happened. He thought it was hilarious. He had me show him her social media page. Little did I know he was going to start his own investigation. And a few days later, he was confident he put the pieces of the puzzle together. He found out that she worked for an insurance company, the same one my parents used. I guess she had done some snooping of her own and had taken notes. We were both guilty of minding business we shouldn't have, but I was pretty sure what she did was at least against company policy, if not illegal. But I decided not to dime her out. I just kept her blocked on everything and went on about my life. About a year later, the same buddy of mine had some news for me. Another friend of ours was in the hospital after being hit by a car. He was going to be okay, but he wouldn't be going back to work for a while. We went to see him and asked what happened. He told us about the girl he had been dating for a few months. The argument led to her freaking out and becoming violent, ending with him being hit by her car. And during his story, he would mention he met the girl online. We asked to see a picture of her. Sure enough, it was the same girl. I told our friend what had happened to me. We both told him to run and leave her alone. He promised us he was going to, but I hear about them still being seen together from time to time. I don't know about him or anyone else, but I'm uncomfortable with just any weirdo having access to my personal information.